Thanks to the support as a channel member, Ian White. Well, I've just about recovered from the financial issues that somebody created by signing too many players. We've actually got money in the bank and didn't sign anybody in January. I really am something of a modern day hero when it comes to looking after the finances of football clubs. But today we take another step towards financial security by getting back up and running with the Champions League again. The knockout rounds start here. Hello and welcome to Club 3, part 13 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of our Champions League knockout playoff. What is this round even called these days? The knockout playoff round against Celtic. Since you were last with me, you can see we've played a few more games, including getting ourselves knocked out of the quarterfinal of the Cup. We did play the reserves in that, so I'm not too worried about that. But we also picked up a disappointing draw in the league as well, combining that with the defeat against Leipzig in the previous episode. And I do hope that the wheels aren't coming off in the league. I mean, we are still 7 points clear of Bayern Munich, so fingers crossed we should be looking good to win the Bundesliga, but I think we've definitely got a bottle job in us, and Bayern seem to have recovered from their disappointing season last year and are starting to close the gap. Bayer Leverkusen still miles behind us. They have sacked the manager. Mikel Arteta was, in fact, they haven't sacked Arteta. Arteta left and went to Paris Saint-Germain. Of course he did. That explains why Bayer Leverkusen are struggling a little bit. So he left right at the start of the season to go manage Paris Saint-Germain. Just shows what winning a Bundesliga can do for a future potential career. If Paris Saint-Germain want to pick me up after this, I don't think I've ever managed Paris Saint-Germain. That would be a fun thing to do. Hopefully Arteta fails there and I can take over from him. That would be lovely. But it is Celtic today. Let's just check in how Celtic are doing. Presumably they're winning the league every year. They're fourth. They are fourth in Scotland. They do win the league most years. They're having a terrible time this season, though. Roberto De Zerbi in charge of Celtic. That's probably a disappointing career for him, I would suggest. In fact, I mean, bearing in mind how highly thought of he is in real life, that isn't the career he dreamt of, I wouldn't have thought. Though he did get to manage Italy for 4 years. Did he leave Italy to go and manage Celtic? Because that's insane if you did know. He left Italy and then joined Celtic about a month later. So De Zerbi Celtic taking on this Dortmund team. It's Ribeiro in goal. And back for Van Veen, Garcia, Schikowski and Borges, Dukic and Van Eijsma in midfield, Moreira and Carrier on the wings, and Egan and Emil Hiskey up front. Let's get this team over to Scotland. I'm going to Scotland soon, boys and girls. I'm currently managing East Fife in my Twitch save. I do stream live on Twitch almost every evening. Twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. I sometimes forget to mention it, but you should come over and watch me. If you can't come over and watch live, or you're one of those people who hates Twitch, irrationally hates Twitch, it's a lovely platform, but if you hate Twitch, the highlights of those Twitch streams do appear here on YouTube. On my second channel, LOLLUJO 2, they come out at 11 o'clock every morning, the morning after the stream. So go subscribe over there if you want to see me managing East Fife in Scotland. What I was saying there is because of that, I am going up to Scotland to watch an East Fife match soon. Not going to Glasgow. Not going to see Celtic while I'm there. But we're in Glasgow playing Celtic now, and we're already 1-0 up. Egan bringing the ball down nicely there. He ends up giving the ball away, but Van Veen is there to collect. Hiskey then gets tackled, and the ball bobbles free to Carrier. It's not the neatest goal that we'll ever score. Couple of times we lost possession as part of the move, but a goal's a goal. We're 1-0 up, and I mean, if we win this first leg comfortably, and this is a big if, don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit through the second leg. As part of this episode, we'll just jump forward to the next round, but we'd need a pretty significant first leg win for me to be brave enough to risk doing that, because that always does open up the opportunity for me to look like a silly goose. Hiskey's there though, and it's 2-0 after less than 20 minutes, and we are looking good for a bit of a time jump episode, because this Celtic team do not look like they're having a very nice time. I mean, the fact that they're fourth in the Premiership, I am flabbergasted that De Zerbi has still got a job. I imagine the Champions League run is part of the reason why he has. And if we're about to end their Champions League run in humiliation, we might be ending Roberto De Zerbi's time in Glasgow. But let's score a few more goals, rattle a few more past Celtic, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. I think that's a reasonable plan. So Garcia plays it out to Van Veen. Van Veen back to Garcia, and now Stallone Van Ajma forward to Dukic, and now Carrier from range. I thought he was going to stick that into the top corner there. That would have been lovely. I did mention in the intro as well that I've fixed the financial problems that we had. We've actually ended the transfer window with £85 million sat in our transfer budget that I've not spent. So when the next gen list comes out, I do have the opportunity to throw a bit of that at the next gen list, similar to how I did last year. It's how we found Van Ajma. I think it's how we found Hiskey. So there's a couple of players that we managed to pull out of that last year. So we are going to be able to poach from that again this year. But primarily, we're just looking to keep the bank balance looking a little bit more positive, because after the huge spend that we've done over the last season or so that we've been here, we were actually overdrawn briefly. I think we're back above our overdraft limit now, which is always nice to see. Egan has just scored an absolute worldie from miles out. There were people doubting Connor Egan. Sometimes, folks, you just have to trust that your old pal Kev is right. And when I see a player like Connor Egan, I see a player who's going to score a gazillion goals, and there is another example of him. Let's just have a little look at Connor Egan. The reason why we love him, because the only attributes that matter are the physical ones. I know he's not got any jumping reach. It's fine. We've got jumping reach through Big Kev. But when you've got acceleration, agility, balance, natural fitness, pace, and stamina, all above 17... the man is just going to tear this match engine apart. Physical is all you need. And, I mean, the combination of Egan plus a big man like Big Kev would probably be the dream. But obviously, we've got Hiskey, who's kind of a halfway house between the two and still only 19. And I think Egan, Hiskey and Big Kev, as the three of them, as combination, being able to play any two from those three for the next 10 years, because they're all under 23, this club, if they can keep that strike force together, is going places. Of course, the tradition in Germany is that they all will end up at Bayern Munich, despite the fact two of them came from Bayern Munich in the first place and they weren't being used properly there. But they're now under new management and will probably be less likely to sell off all of their best players to us the way they have over the last year or so. Silly Bayern Munich. They've cost themselves the Bundesliga this year, potentially. We do still have to go on and win it, which I am a little bit concerned about. But it's Celtic now trying to build up from the back. I think one more goal and I consider myself safe, and we will not bother showing you the second leg, because I mean, we're 3-0 up away from home from the first leg. We're probably not going to lose this tie, are we? Obviously, I'll be sat here with the camera nearby, so if the second leg does go terribly wrong, we can join that mid-match and you can see it going terribly wrong. But we'll either jump forward to the next round of the Champions League, or we'll have a look and see what domestic matches were. Can I just point out how incredible that was from Van Ajma? Still a teenager, still only 18. You know I love him, but he's won the ball in midfield there, powerfully charged forward out of midfield with it, and then played a through ball to set up a really good opportunity to score. He's the new Patrick Vieira. He is an incredible central midfielder. I've never known anybody like him. Right, Garcia from the throw finds Egan, who turns and floats into the penalty area. Moreira is there with the header, but he can't keep it down, and it remains 3-0. But as you can see from the match stats, we are absolutely dominating things. And surely that fourth goal is imminent, you would think, after... I mean, we're going to put this down as another Stallone Van Ajma masterclass. He's going to single-handedly win us the Champions League at 18 years old. What a player. What a career he's going to have. And Celtic are in here. We've had to scramble that one off the goal line. I mean, we're supposed to be home and dry. I'm talking as if we're already through to the next round. And Celtic are actually having the majority of the decent chances in this second half. I really do think we need a fourth goal to just kill them off. We need to knock the stuffing out of them because they've rather unfortunately decided that they've still got a chance to get back into this game. Right, we are going to change the midfield because they're both tired. So Maui and Ayadeli can come on in midfield. Moreira's going to come off as well. And Adeyemi comes on that left-hand side. And hopefully, just all of the substitutions combined give us a little bit more energy. I mean, we were completely in control of the game when the two midfielders were fully energetic and running things, but maybe they just ran out of steam and we needed some fresh legs in there. Although Celtic, once again, with a decent opportunity, they are clawing their way back into the game, at least from a chances created and style of play side of things. I mean, there's still, if they don't grab a goal, it doesn't really count for anything because we'd still have beaten them 3-0 in the away leg. But we looked like we were going to run away with this in that first half, and that is not what has ended up happening at all. Herrera is going to come on as well, just to shake things up a little bit out wide. Different style of player to Carrier, of course, and Ayadeli with the shot that is, I mean, that's hit the crossbar. Actually, I thought that had gone behind for a corner, but that's hit the crossbar. That was very, very close. He beat the keeper with that one, but not able to duck it down under the bar. And it looks like we're probably going to be ending 3-0 here. Ayadeli trying to win the ball back in midfield. He does eventually, and now it is Herrera. He's got 3 Celtic men around him, and he comes away with the ball. That's wonderful work from Herrera. Egan to Hiskey, and there is number 4. Huge credit to Bruno Herrera there. That's why we spent all the money that we did to bring him in permanently from Barcelona, because he has no reason to come away with the ball there. But he gets past 3 men, releases Egan, and then it's just slid across for Hiskey, and it's 4-0, and that should be us into the last 16 of the Champions League. Remember, we narrowly missed out in the league stage. We finished 9th, and the top 8 go through to that knockout round automatically. So we deserve to be there. We now are going to be there. And we're probably going to show you the next round of the Champions League because there's not any big significant Bundesliga games coming up. So we'll do a little bit of time travel and I'll meet you in is it the quarterfinal next or the round of 16? I always feel like I miss a round in my head at this stage of the tournament. Whatever it is, I'll meet you there. Welcome to the future, everybody. We've played loads of matches. We've scored some goals as well. 6-0 over the team that I can't pronounce. We then beat Celtic 1-0 in the second leg. An 8-0 win over Augsburg with centre-back Hakan Moorman getting 4 goals in that match. It was something of a set-piece clinic in that game. We actually lost to Werder Bremen, which was a little bit alarming, especially because we've just struggled our way past Hoffenheim as well, with a couple of late goals in that game. And Bayern are actually lurking. If we'd have lost that game against Hoffenheim, we would only be 7 points clear of Bayern with them having 2 games in hand. They are coming for us. I am a little bit afraid. And then we struggled past Everton in the first leg in this Champions League round of 16 as well, including conceding a comical goal that was assisted by my former boy from Burton, Urkel Giza. But this was just a ridiculous goal to concede, and we did really struggle against them. But that ball just, yeah, it was very upsetting, but we did manage to turn that around with goals from Captain Van Veen and then Conor Egan with the winner as well. So we've got the second leg against Everton coming up. We're 2-1 up from the home leg. So it's touch and go whether we're going to make it through to this quarterfinal. Everton are down in 8th place in the Premier League. I'm not quite sure how they got into the Champions League. Let's have a little look. Did they? I mean, it looks like last season was just something of a fluke season, a 5th place finish, and they've now reverted to normal. But we struggled against them. I will continue to maintain that the Bundesliga is not at the same level as the other leagues, and we do struggle when we play against these teams from the top leagues. But we're away against Everton. We just need to find a way to beat them. So it's Ribeiro in goal, a back four of Van Veen, Garcia, Schikowski and Borges, Ayadeli and Van Ajmer in midfield, Moreira and Carrier out wide, Big Kev and Emil Hiskey up front. There are rumours of both Van Ajmer and Hiskey being the favourites to win the Next Gen Award, which hasn't been announced yet, but they're both looking good to be quite highly placed in that. I mean, they are. I mean, I'm going to say, as a proud papa, I'm going to say they're the 2 best wonder kids in world football. and we signed them both for less than £20 million for the pair. So the scouting network that we've got here at Dortmund, clearly very good, because although we signed some good young players at Burton, we never quite managed to find anybody of that kind of level, at least nobody who would agree to sign for us. So if nothing else, it confirms that the extra reputation at Dortmund has allowed us to get two real hot young prospects. Van Eijsma in particular was wanted by a lot of clubs. We've had to pay him a lot of money to get him to come in. It's a very large salary that he's on, bearing in mind he was 17 years old when he signed it. But we basically offered him double what he was asking for, because Paris Saint-Germain were in for him, Manchester City were in for him, and we just threw all the money at him and managed to convince him to sign for us. We bribed his agent as well. We paid the absolute maximum we were able to pay to his agent to get him through the door, and now he's proved to be as good as he is. I'm comfortable telling you that. If it had turned out rubbish, you'd have never have known. That's how you do content, boys and girls. Always make yourself look clever. But look, there again, once again, he is the best player on the pitch, like he is every single match. I mean, we've got these free scoring attackers, some of the best creative players in the world. But Van Eijsma, he's amazing. He might be the best new gen I've had since Mitar Sernajaki, and that's saying something. 0-0 at half time. This will do. We're 2-1 up from the first leg. If we just grind out a bore draw in this second leg, that's fine. That gets us into a Champions League quarter-final. Van Veen has picked up a knock, so we'll just swap him for Colombo. Nice, easy change. It's very nice to have interchangeable fullbacks the way we have. It doesn't really matter on either side which of the two fullbacks are playing, because they're both, or they're all roughly of equivalent standard, all same kind of profile of player. Nice. They're basically wingers, nice, fast wingers who can tackle a bit, so we get to play them at fullback. But we're still just kind of letting this game happen, cruising along. Everything is fine. We don't need to worry. We are going to take off Hiskey, who's not having the best of games. Neither is Carrier, so Herrera can come on for him. Being able to bring on Conor Egan and Bruno Herrera with 20 minutes to go there's some strength in depth here at Dortmund this season, boys and girls. But it looks like we are just going to see this one out, which I guess is the ideal scenario. We've not been convincing by any stretch of the imagination, but we don't need to blow every team away that we play. We just need to win the matches that we need to win and get through to the finals that we need to get through to. We want trophies. We want trophies, not friends. That should be a t-shirt. We want trophies, not friends. Oh, they're in here. We're not going to have either. Oh, that is upsetting. I mean, if we can't have trophies, I will take a friend. Oh, right. 1-0 to Everton on the night makes it 2-2 on aggregate. We have shown minimal attacking intent over the course of this match, and we've taken off our all-conquering midfield. So we are going to have to find a way to get a goal from somewhere, and the front four that are on the pitch now aren't really doing the business today. Unfortunately, we can make one more change. It's going to be Adeyemi who comes on. I'm just deciding whether he comes on for Moreira or Big Kev. I think we probably bring him on for Moreira and have Adeyemi coming in off that left-hand side. And I obviously don't want this to go to penalties. There's been a few people saying that the narrative I'm painting about the Bundesliga being no good is nonsense. I will use this as another example of it. Everton are 8th in the Premier League, and we are incredibly evenly matched with them. We struggled to beat them by 1 goal in the first leg, and now they're just cancelling us out in this second leg. It's a very even match. We are roughly at the level of an 8th place Premier League team, and they're actually going to knock us out of the Champions League. It's not a narrative I'm trying to paint. The Bundesliga is rubbish in the future. I think we need to win it and move on. Get the Bundesliga won this year and go to a league with a slightly higher standard. Because despite Dortmund being a big club, we are suffering from the fact that week in, week out, we are beating teams 6-0 and 8-0. It's like playing in Scotland. We're not being properly tested often enough. And it's cost us on this Champions League run this season. Unless we can grab an equaliser here. No, I mean, the keeper was probably forward. I didn't notice him. Adeyemi into Big Kev. He's given the ball away. We are in the final moments of the match. There's like a minute of added time left. If we can grab an equaliser now, it'll be an all-time channel moment. Garcia plays it forward to Colombo. We have got men lined up in the middle. Big Kev is one of them, but he can't keep his header down. And I think the Champions League dream for this season is over. After getting through to the final last year, because we had an easy draw, no such fun this year. We are out of the Champions League at the quarterfinal stage, which does cost us financially as well. We lose a big chunk of money by not getting through to that Champions League final. And it is now just all about winning Bundesliga. So there will just be the one more episode this season, which will hopefully be a trophy lift or a very sad Kev. I'm trying to pick the spot where we come back, and I think away against Bayern Munich is probably the day. Please don't balls that one up as well. Goodness me. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.